Hello everyone, this is Aditya Mehta and you are listening to Personality Development Podcast. A rare yet severe disease is spreading throughout India, particularly in Pune, called as Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS. It is a disease which severely impacts your nervous system and can lead to severe complications if not diagnosed at a very early stage. And raising awareness about these conditions is very crucial. And for that reason, we have a special expert in today's episode, a survivor from this at the age of 30. She is Dr. Bitumani Bora. She is a lead scientific writer in neurology and immunology therapy, and she is going to be with us in today's episode. By the way, her book based on this disease was felicitated by the Assam governor. So she's going to be here in a while. In the meantime, what you guys can do is subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already and listen to this intro music. Hello everyone and welcome back to Personality Development Podcast. And as I've already mentioned, we have Dr. Bituman Bora. Hello, Dr. Bittu. I'm going to call you Bittu. I hope that's fine.
Yes, that is fine.
Thank you so much. So, Bittu, first of all, welcome to Personality Development Podcast. I really appreciate you taking out your valuable time to be on this podcast and also to spread the awareness about this disease.
Thank you so much, Aditya, for having me on the show and for giving me this opportunity to talk about my recovery journey, my patient as a patient, the journey that I went through, and my entire life journey in general, because this is so important to raise awareness about a rare disease that people are not aware about. So, thank you so much, Aditya, for having me on the show.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. So, Bittu, before we dive straight into the episode, I mean, our listeners would love to have a detailed introduction. What I gave was just like a, I would say, Instagram picture that everyone likes it, but they don't know the background story of that picture. So, yeah, if you can give a detailed bio about you, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you so much, Aditya. So, I'm Bitu. I am a veterinarian and a molecular biologist by my studies. I did my veterinary medicine degree from Assam Agricultural University, and I did my master's in molecular parasitology and vector biology, mouthful out, from Universities of Manchester, Salford and Kiel. And after that, did my I had some work experience there in UK, and during that time, when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, so I had to come back to India and look after her. And I started my career as a scientific editor in a publishing house, Springer Nature. It's a scientific publishing house, and from there, I started my journey of my career. After that, I joined Novartis as a senior scientific writer because this was kind of my passion. It aligned with my degree, with the kind of work I had done. And having survived a severe disease condition myself, my mother had been also a severe disease survivor. So I knew that I have to be in a field that is where I can give back to the society.
Yes.
I'm living my passion, and also I am making money out of it. Plus, I'm also taking care of my family. So that's how I joined Novartis. And after that, I am with another big pharma company now. And I'm working as a lead expert scientific writer. There I work for urology and immunology domain. It's the boring part, I know. But apart from this, I also like to enjoy my life. And there, that travel comes into picture, which all of us after COVID, we have started realizing it more. And I also like to be in front of camera to do some modeling. So I actually was part of a modeling show, Ever Event and Plus Size International.
Right.
So during that time, I made some really amazing pens. And apart from that, I also write. That's part of my career as well as the creative part as well. So I was successful enough to write a book, and which was inaugurated in the Peninsular of this Surat I even mixed having websites where I went in. The book got good response because it was one of a kind, a poetic autobiography, and I also have the book with me here.
Yes.
And on top of that, this book came because of the challenges that I had, and also the fact that I survived the Guillain-Barré syndrome, which was a severe form, during which the physiotherapist told me I will never be able to walk, I will never be able to finish my studies, I will never probably be able to have a kid because of my condition. But here I am today. I have all of it, and I'm grateful that whatever I was told that I can't have, I have earned all of it, and I'm very happy. So that's kind of a brief introduction about me. And also on top of that, this book gave me some kind recognition. I got the Golden Book Awards. That was then I was felicitated by Bhadishi herself in Pune, and I was also felicitated by Assam Governor in Assam, and that was in 2024 itself. And I'm blessed to have this beautiful life where there are a lot of happinesses and challenges, but it's the best how you make out of it.
Of course, of course.
So
Wonderfully explained. I really love the introduction. Audience, I just want to tell you one thing. When she said about, her nurse or therapist told her that she will not be able to work and she can never be a mother. Today, while coming to this podcast space, she has actually climbed 4 floors via stairs. Okay. And at the same time, she is a mother of a cute daughter. And that's really something amazing. And you also mentioned about Miss Neven plus size modeling.
yes.
We had a winner of that show on this podcast as well.
Yeah, Rishad, he's my
Rishad.
very close friend.
Okay, that's how you came to know about this podcast as well, right?
I saw I saw your podcast even before that.
Oh, okay. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so you know what? The podcast was already famous. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Wonderful. One thing which I would like to, now dive into the topic, and I believe I was just trying to lighten the mood, but this is a really serious topic which we are diving into, and that's the awareness about this rare disease, but it has a severe complications in your nervous system and your entire body because once the nervous system is gone, of course, your body will be paralyzed. Before I would say we talk more about the disease, first I would like to know your journey as well. Okay, like how did you came to know what were the symptoms you had before you actually came to know that you have Guillain-Barré syndrome?
Yes. So I was in class 8, a normal school going kid, and I was doing the day-to-day activities properly. I was going to school and participating in school activities and all that. One fine day, in class 8, 13 years of age. So one fine day, I was feeling a bit of tingling sensation in my lower extremities, my legs, and I was having headache. I started having headache, these frequent headaches, then a bit of fever, 9900-degree fever, and I in general, used to feel that I'm not able to do the daily activities normally. And I tried to call my mother and father, and what they did, they took me to the doctor. I went to the doctor in the airport, and they said that they dismissed all my symptoms. They said that, okay, single child hai, and she's just trying to gain attention. So 3, 4 times they took me. They just gave me paracetamol or the medicines that are needed and ignored here. And one fine day, मैं ब्रश करने के लिए उठी. I said, "Mummy, I can't even walk." तो मम्मी ने पकड़ के मुझे लेके गई. And then I was standing to brush my teeth. मैं ऐसे गिर गई. And I felt like I have fallen on a duller. मतलब एक गद्दे पे गिरी हुई हुआ. So I fell down and I didn't feel a single thing. ऐसा लगा I fell on a cushion. क्योंकि body already numb हो चुकी थी. And before that as well, actually, whenever I went to the hospital, मुझे आईडी लगा से रख देते थे. And during that time, I used to feel my legs and hands are so cold. दिक्की ठंडी लग रही है, कितना भी कपड़ा डालो, I'm not able to get warmth out of it. And still, doctors, they didn't take it seriously. They just said, yeah, he's serial child, she's just trying to gain your attention. And that was happening. So उसके बाद ही गिरने वाला incident हुआ. And then they took me to the hospital. They referred me to Command Hospital. This all happened in Agra. So I was referred to Command Hospital, Agra. There, when I went to ICU, they took some fluid out of my spinal cord. So spinal cord पे fluid लेके then they did some breathing tests. Neurologist ने check किया. They suspected Guillain-Barré syndrome. And because the treatment was not available there, so उसी रात को फिर उन्होंने मुझे दिल्ली रेफर किया. So दिल्ली में there is a research and referral hospital, Southern Command Hospital in Dholakua. So in that night itself, when they transferred me from this hospital to there, my situation was so bad that I had to be on ventilator. So by the time I reached Delhi, I couldn't stand. I was a bed patient. In a day, from not being able to stand to completely bedridden and not be able to eat anything, drink anything. Pura दिन I didn't have anything to eat, and basically they were just putting an IV. And वहाँ जाके they put me on ventilator. Initially the ventilator was through mouth, but that also failed. So they had to perform a surgery. It is called tracheostomy. So then I was put on ventilators to my throat, a proper surgery. So I was on ventilator for 45 days and 60 days I was in ICU. So all I can say is during those 60 days, the kind of challenges I had, my parents had to go through a lot of challenges, from being a completely healthy person, a small kid who was playing around, to being completely bedridden, not even being able to raise my eyebrow because it was not diagnosed on time.
On time.
Had it been diagnosed at a very early stage, it had just started affecting my legs or my lower body, I would have been saved to reach that stage. And because it was not diagnosed, I was on a ventilator, struggling, battling a disease for 45 days, 60 days, and then almost for 6 months, I was completely paralyzed. And there, the set of challenges that were different. And when the recovery started after all the treatments that happened, the physiotherapy played a very important part. Physiotherapy, the diet, and the support I had from my family, from my school friends, and everyone. It took me nearly a year to start walking, just the basics, okay, and just talking basics to walk, even to write. I had to start writing, learn to write again. I had to start to learn to eat again. So all these were like the activities that we learn as a kid. So I had to learn everything again, and to recover completely from it. When I say completely recovered, getting up just the way you want. A normal person कैसे get up करता है? When you're walking the stairs, effortlessly you walk. Those were half like you are, walking a Everest, Mount Everest. So वो पूरा recover होने में मुझे 6 से 7 साल लग गए. So hence, the reason it is a rare disease, people don't know about it, and the fact that a severe form of it, if not treated on time, can lead to death, which also happened. तूने ने एक बार देखी boy जो बता रहा था, I'm not, he was saying कि I'm ill, and parents को लगा वो बस बहाना कर रहा है. Had they heard that वो वेंटिलेटर पे नहीं जाता, और अगर अभी वो वेंटिलेटर पे गया है, the recovery journey, the kind of mental pressure that kid is going through is immense. So मेरा journey ये था कि I recovered in a year's time, and when I went to my school, so my friends had been promoted to class 9. My friends were kind enough, they did all my homeworks. सबने सब कुछ किया. मेरे school friends ने बहुत support किया. They came, entire class came to meet me in the hospital in Agra. Once I was discharged from Delhi, they came to a hospital in Agra, Command Hospital. My friends, my entire class came to meet me, and they wrote many, get well soon wale messages and all, which was very positive impact. As a patient, getting those kind of messages is very help you and
emotionally fulfilled.
empowers कि हाँ, there are people who care for me and I can come out of it. So that kind of help. And when I was in my start somehow जब मैं चल के स्कूल जाना शुरू की, मैं क्लास 8 में जाती थी, मेरे सारे फ्रेंड्स क्लास 9 में जाते थे. ना मैं क्लास 8 में बैठ पाती थी, ना मैं क्लास 9 में बैठ पाती थी. मैं जब क्लास 9 की बैठी थी, टीचर को से you're not get past your class 8, you have to go back. And my teacher was fighting with the principal कि he should get the opportunity to get the final exams because he's a bright student. And my teacher fought a lot, so I got the opportunity to give exam and I took third in class.
Whoa.
But during that time, not having the support from certain teachers and the mindset कि you know मेरे को बार-बार क्लास 8 में जूनियर्स के साथ बैठना पड़ रहा है, वो थोड़ा शर्म आता था मुझे उस टाइम पे. And the normal fact कि मेरे सारे फ्रेंड्स दौड़ भाग रहे हैं, they can do all the activities and I can't even walk in a straight line. I can't eat normally, मतलब हाथ ऐसे ऐसे जाता था. I can't put a morsel of food directly in mouth. तो वो सारी innovations थी, challenges थी. And I had heard the physiotherapist saying when I was a complete bedridden patient, ये तो चल नहीं पाएगी कभी, ये तो पढ़ाई भी नहीं कंप्लीट कर पाएगी. और क्योंकि इसको इतने medications मिले हैं, so many X-rays have happened, इतने radiations, तो her chances of becoming a mother are very weak. तो ये 3 चीजें मेरे को उस टाइम पे बोली थी. And this, when I told my other physiotherapists from Adi, they took it as a challenge. They said, ऐसे कैसे बोल सकते हैं? ये लड़की चलेगी. And the kind of army training I had with them, I can't even tell you. रो के I had no body mass. I was barely 25-30 kilos of weight, a class 8 student. And the amount of pain I went through, the physiotherapy sessions, it was one of the most difficult parts of my day. And the food में they asked me to bring fire soup. और वो जो उस टाइम पे बनाते थे उसका जो स्मेल आता था, that was also very not the most pleasant one. So you know, these are the kind of things that I faced as a kid. And उसमें the amount of confidence जो गिरा था, being not able to walk and not be able to do normal activities and being told, okay, you can't do these things. So I was completely shattered. But my mother used to say, कि कोई कुछ भी बोले, it's your mindset. You have to do the things. And only you can make things happen that people told you can't. And that's how, when after somehow I passed class 10, 12, 75%. मेरे पेरेंट्स ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस नहीं देते थे. But during that time itself, I had in mind कि I should be able to do something in the medical field. Of course, the focus was to become a doctor. I also tried medical and I couldn't get. I would have got if I would have tried 1-2 years more, but I didn't want to lose my years because I saw how it felt when, as a kid, I went back to class 8. I was studying with juniors. So I decided I would never lose a year and I got into veterinary medicine in Assam. And when I joined veterinary medicine, I enjoyed my study. And because purely physically challenging, also veterinary medicine is a physically challenging study. पढ़ाई जितनी करनी है in human medicine, आप सिर्फ human anatomy पढ़ रहे हो. But in veterinary medicine, आप human के साथ animals, all sort of domestic animals, wild animals, you're studying everything. And you're doing practicals on them. So going in the field, treating a cattle, एक कुत्ता, and your हाथ में खिलता है नहीं, हाथ में NCC. So those 2 years of rigorous NCC, morning 5 o'clock उठ के running करना, although मेरी situation है नहीं running की, even basic activity, मतलब हील से खड़े होना, वो भी नहीं है. And from there to actually running in LCC, treating large animals, उसने मेरे को जो छोटी छोटी चीजें थी वो सारी ट्रीट कर दी. And that's why I said कि it took me 1 year to recover from the disease. To do the basic things, walk करना, अपने आप से खाना और हीटना, वो भी स्पीड कम था, I was slow compared to others. And veterinary की वजह से 2 years का जो intense NCC course and the veterinary course itself, it made me completely physically fit to be able to run, क्योंकि देयर वर नियरली 13 अगर आपके सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, 13 सब्जेक्ट्स, 13 प्रैक्टिकल्स, फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर, सेकंड सेमेस्टर, कंपोजिट, तो 6 महीने आपके सिर्फ एग्जाम्स में और रनिंग बिटवीन डिपार्टमेंट्स. देयर आर 20-25 departments in a big campus area.
Yeah.
So running around. So I was thinking, God, why fitting you like this? Make a veterinary science. Had I been probably studying medicine, it would have been in a small in a small area in Assam, Jowet Medical College there. So actually, God was helping me, and the universe was actually helping me to become physically fit in that
Yes.
and treat difficult cases. I've treated all sort of animals, small animals, large animals,
Right.
wild animals, elephants, tigers as a veterinary student. So that gave me a lot of physical strength back. And while studying there, I realized that parasitology, microbiology, these are more finer things where you study, the final details about more about the human body. You study about blood, you study about immunology. So that's how I got interest in parasitology, and that's how I did my masters. And during that time, I also got this opportunity to work in army. I had cleared CDSC, and because I had this NCC background, I had the opportunity to go into become an army officer. But rather than that, I chose my higher study because I wanted to learn more about the final details of what happens inside a human body. So back in mind, I always had Guillain-Barré syndrome, neurology. What happened? So that curiosity, के what happened? ऐसा क्यों हुआ मेरे साथ? It's a rare disease. I don't know anything about it. I was studying, भाई को समझ में ही नहीं आता था, इतने complicated terms थे. Or immunology itself is very complex. Or on the being able to study that, I got the opportunity to do some research on cerebral malaria. And then again, जब मम्मी का situation हुआ, I had to return back. And उसमें भी फिर again studies. मम्मी के doctors had told she will not survive for more than 6 months.
Oh.
Stage 3 signet cell carcinoma, basically stomach cancer. फिर उधर पे से study करो, what would be the best food that she will have that can keep her. So whatever the kind of care and the love and support I got during Guillain-Barré syndrome, that's exactly what I gave back to my mother during my mother's cancer journey. And I told her, okay, the way you supported me during that, from someone who can't walk, talk, or do basic activities to making me this today, you also have to, if doctors do bhi bole, I don't care. 6 months hai, I don't care. It happened in 2014 and today is 2020, correct? She is alive and she's doing good, basically. So that's the thing, a human mind, when you know that ये करना ही है and you channelize all your energy towards it, रुक करके ये चाहिए मतलब चाहिए, पूरी एनर्जी लगा दो, it will come to you. No one can stop it. If it is meant for you, no one can stop it.
It will come to you.
It can always come to you. And in manifold, मतलब एक गुना दो गुना नहीं, हजार
गुना आएगा. That's really well narrated story. I mean, not a story, but it was a real incident as well. And few things which I would like to say to the audience, that if your kid is facing this, it doesn't mean that they just want to bunk school or they want to get your attention. Please make sure to go to the doctor and make sure to take multiple opinions if the treatment is not proper. So make sure to do that. It's not important to stay with just your family doctor. If it's not happening, you have to take multiple opinions. And the other thing is about a mindset. What a wonderful mindset you had for yourself. Your mother gave that mindset to you, and in return, of course, you gave that mindset to your mother as well when she was going through these difficult times. And normally I would say I understand, but in this case, I don't understand. I can only imagine what you might have gone through during that stages, and it's really difficult. I mean, normally when people go through with fever or cough or cold, even during those times, our mental health is not very well. Okay, we are very annoying at times. We easily get angry on someone, and those all things happens. Okay, because emotionally we are not in the stage to talk to anyone. We just want to be in our bubble. Okay, and I really admire the mindset which you had back then, and I really appreciate those kind of people around who were there with you, and that's really beautiful when your friends came to meet you, and then there were get well soon cards. I really appreciate uh, your father taking care of you. Everyone mentioned me while we were talking on the phone that your father also created a communication system where you were completely parallel.
Yes.
So if you can share that as well.
Yes. So it was in the ICU where I couldn't, as I said, that I was completely paralyzed. I couldn't even raise my eyebrow. Even blinking an eye would was a big task for me. And doctors, everyone wanted to communicate me. My inner self, it is trapped in the body. I want to shout out loud and say, "This is what I need." Basic things, even like sucking my face or taking a turn. मतलब करवट लेना तो कहते हैं. So for that, people were helping me. मतलब मम्मी या पापा या nurses, they were putting me on side, putting pillow in below. And how do they know that this has to be done? Yeah, I need the doctor. या मम्मी चाहिए. So my father, he would say, say the alphabets A, B, C, D, and it's on D or E. By the time he would say D, blink करते करते F तक पहुंच जाते थे. Then he would come back again D पे. So D से doctor. Then if it has gone till M, M for mummy, N say nurse. Then there was A say anesthesia nurse. There was a nurse called anesthesia. So that's how the communication system was built with a person who can't say anything, almost in a state of coma. By the way, I was not in coma. I looked like I'm in coma, but I was aware of my surroundings, and there was a constant noise in my head. कि जैसे दूरदर्शन में जब ये होता था ना, beat powers are so seems to be there all the time. So yes, so as a paralyzed person who is already on a lot of medication, there is wire all around my body. That is the sound that I had, and not be easy to take turn by myself meant back sores होंगे. Now back sores are really bad. They are real culprit. If back sores develop, then recovery chances are even more difficult. So to ensure that I was put on special beds, जो कि pressure ऊपर ही से करके feet को support देके के, and this करवट नीला help to give my back rest. And उस time पे let's say हाथ कभी body के नीचे रह गया, I can't even move it, right? And I am telling that, communicating that कि मेरा हाथ नीचे है. If I am like that for 2 hours, I'm in that pain for 2 hours. मतलब I can't say anything.
Yeah.
And then somehow my father will understand, your mommy will understand कि हाथ नीचे है. Somehow I will take it. I communicate somehow, I don't know how. They would understand कि हाथ बैठ के नीचे से निकालना है. Then they will take it out. So that sort of challenges were there, and there the communication that my father developed, like ABCD wala. I hope there are better communication systems now for paralyzed patients who can't even blink, and hence the early detection. As I said, okay, when you are getting, if you, especially after a bacterial infection. So Guillain-Barré syndrome usually happens after a bacterial infection, a viral infection. If you had some loose motion, diarrhea, or any waterborne diseases, notice yourself. एक हफ्ते बाद अगर I am getting symptoms such as headache, fever, pain sensation, हम काफी देर एक पोजीशन में बैठते हैं तो पैर फूल हो जाता है, right? That's the feeling I had in my body. I was developing that feeling. And वही feeling में भी वो numbness, वाइट जैसे anesthesia देने के बाद जो numbness रहती है. So if you're getting those symptoms, not ignore them. And as you rightly said, hey, get multiple opinion. Get opinion from a specialist. Neurologist से बात चाहिए.
Yeah.
If you are getting sensations या sensations जा रहे हैं, neurologist के पास जाके पूरी checkups कराइए to rule out Guillain-Barré syndrome. So that way, you can prevent Guillain-Barré syndrome in the first place.
Right.
Don't wait till the time it gets severe because it takes 2 days. It may take less than 10 days to develop the disease, but it takes a lifetime to recover from it. Nearly 5-10 years if you're taking to do the basic activities freely, it is hampering your life. You know that I can't do it, but you have to try, push yourself. You can't compare with someone who is completely healthy. So that is why early detection is the key, and prevention is the holy grail.
It is always better than cure.
Yes. So and during the people, as I mentioned, as it is an autoimmune disease. An autoimmune disease ये क्या होता है layman terms में? So हमारा let's compare it with layman terms. इंडिया इंडियन आर्मी डिफेंस सिस्टम है वो इंडिया को प्रोटेक्ट कर रही है. जस्ट इमेजिन हमारा जो प्रोटेक्शन फोर्सेस है, जो स्पेशल फोर्सेस है, बॉर्डर फोर्सेस है, वो ही हमें अटैक कर रहे हैं. What will happen? The system will collapse. In Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is an autoimmune disease, your protection system, जो तुम्हारे antibodies हैं, जो तुम्हें protect करने चाहिए, they are fighting against your own body. So your body is fighting against your own antibodies, and that is leading to this disease.
Okay. I mean, I don't have words to actually appreciate the communication system that was built, but the things which you have faced, it's really something which no one would ever want that, and you have shown some great courage out of it. However, about about some your journey, I would also like to know more about GDS in particular. Okay, you mentioned about the symptoms that comes through, or you had mentioned about what are certain things which goes after the symptoms. Like it is like within 10 days you are completely paralyzed. But during this time, okay, what actually happens in the body? So you mentioned about being an autoimmune disease. Your basically protectors are fighting against your own body. That's something great. But during that time, okay, when you were going through this, okay, you said you were going through like there was a complete beep which you can hear. During these times, what is happening in your body? Okay, because the treatment which they provided you, what was that treatment as well? So that the process somehow stops and then you can recover.
So, as I said, that it's a syndrome. We don't know the real etiology till now. Etiology means what is the cause of the disease. We don't know that yet. But immune therapy means IVIG, immunoglobulins. So IVIG and plasma therapy, these are the two ways that the disease can be stopped. And with this symptomatic treatment, painkiller treatment ho gaya, yeah, you know, giving IV drips along with it for managing pain. And physiotherapy. Physiotherapy is the key. If your physiotherapist and the support you get from your parents, once you get the immunoglobulins and the IVIG treatment, once that happens, after that, the treatment is the physiotherapy that you get on a daily basis, the food that you eat along with it, and the overall care that you get. That is the only key to recover completely from it. Because if someone is telling you that you can't work and you take that as a ultimate answer, then you will remain a bed patient or you will have limitations in your life. There you have to fight with that mindset and work with your physiotherapist. There are certain massages, they will do massages, then they will give you heat therapy, then they will do exercises, they will do some exercises because the patient is completely paralyzed. Look, my patient can't do, so they will do the exercises on you. And once you gain enough strength to at least sit on your own, so then you will have to do some more physical exercises, proper exercises that we do in gym, but under physiotherapist guidance. So all those things are extremely important, and there you can't skip a day. My session used to start at 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. intense 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. I'm only working with my physiotherapist. I'm crying. I can't do, but they were pushing me really hard to, uh, get better. So although it was pain for me, but it was actually helping me recover from the condition. And then my parents support being there, going through it as parents. My father had to leave his job and be there with me in Delhi for nearly 6 months. My mother, she herself was recovering from a surgery that she had, and during that, she was helping me do things. So it's not just the patient, the medication that does the wonders. It is the overall support you get from your parents, from your family members, whoever is there, and the physiotherapist. The food that you're eating, it has to be rich in proteins because there is a lot of muscle waste
Yeah.
because you are not working, walking, or doing the daily activities, so muscles shrink. So regaining strength, regaining those muscles, you have to keep your diet correct. You have to do your exercises diligently. You have to listen to what the physiotherapist is saying. Otherwise, if you don't do all those things, then recovery will take longer, and then it will affect your mental health.
Well,
And ultimately, it's the overall recovery and being able to do certain things. So, for example, because I was on a ventilator, I wanted to become a fighter pilot. I wanted to become that. But because I have a surgery done, I had a respiratory disease, you said, I wasn't able to fulfill that dream. So, because it was not detected on time, I have to put full stop on most of my dreams, right? For the critical limitations.
right.
So, hence, proper timely diagnosis is extremely important. And this is a rare condition. There are rarely any people who have survived this much. And if they have, they are struggling with day to day things. And hence, here I want to be the voice and make people aware that it is important that you listen to your body. If something is not right, go to the doctor. If you love your loved ones, for their sake, go to the doctor. You taking care of yourself is the highest form of love you can give to your family.
That's so true. Yeah, that's very well said. And audience, I cannot emphasize enough to please listen to her and listen to your body as well. Coming back to you, Bitu, one more thing which I want to ask is because emotionally we get really brained out during this time. Okay, I want to ask how much emotionally exhausted it was after the recovery was done. Okay, because as you mentioned, it took 1 year for you to recover, but then of course it took a lot of time to physically do a lot other things as well, right? So how emotionally exhausted is that?
So all I can say is that so I'm a single child, and my father was in Indian Air Force. So every 2 to 3 years, every 5 years, we were moving to a new place, new environment, new school, everything new. So having a constant friend circle who is being supportive, I never had that. Then I had only my parents. My mother was super strict, although she helps me during this time, but I never had anyone to talk to things. So there, writing became my best friend. Whatever I want, I am feeling, whatever I'm facing, I used to write it down, and that helped me a lot. It helped me to, process my emotions, that emotional anxiety, or all sort of things that I was facing through. And of course, when you are writing things down, you also see things. I never knew that time that it will be so helpful now. But all I can say throughout the journey is that writing was the biggest pillar that was my support. And it was that soft, fluffy pillow where you would, just hold it and just cry or whatever it is. And that's how this book also happened. And if you allow me, I can just read some lines of how it felt.
Sure, sure. Please go ahead.
Very simple.
Firstly, if you can show that book on the camera as well, because that's the book which he has written. One for
Yes. So these lines, they are not big lines. Thoughts on memorable moments. Yesterday, somebody asked me about a memorable moment of life. It was on 14th May 2010. I told the day when I came out of ICU alive after an ordeal of 45 days on a ventilator and saw birds flying against the bright blue sky. So that's the kind of thought process I had, that this is one of the most memorable moments to be able to see the birds flying against the sky. So after coming out of ICU. So those were some of the beautiful moments for me, and so as I said, I write it a lot. So I wrote some lines. This poem is from my book, Soulful Connection. I pretended I'm fine. I pretended I was strong. I was strong and fine when I was told I can't work ever. When I had severe Guillain-Barré syndrome. Although I was so behind, I was stuck in class 8 and all my classmates progressed to class 9. Being the only child, I had to smile to keep my parents going. I pretended I was strong and fine when my mummy got stage 3 cancer. Doctor gave her just 6 months time, and not being able to do anything for her definitely felt like crying. I pretended I am strong and fine when I broke my ankle, as once again I had to be so, being the only child, as my family got strength from me when they see me strong and smile. I pretended I am motivated and headstrong when I wasn't doing great career wise, having great degrees but an average job had certainly made me doubt my abilities. EMIs and family responsibilities, being the only child, had certainly put certain wild thoughts in my mind. I pretended I am positive and hopeful when the doctor told I can never be a mother. I kept a positive attitude and never stopped believing, and finally got blessed with a beautiful girl child. I pretended I'm strong and fine even when I reached a weight of 100, while it was actually killing me like a silent killer.
Wow. My goodness.
Until I spoke candidly with a soul that is divine, this soul lifted my spirit and left a spell undefined. I followed everything they instructed with dedication and determination. I felt the cosmic energy helping me reduce this extra burden in my life for the first time in my life.
Wow.
So those are the lines it summarizes the journey.
My goodness. I mean, I was clapping because if that would have been on an open mic, definitely would have got a lot of claps. So that's really well written, and actually you answered my question with the help of poems, and that's really amazing. And I really love the book, and also you have gifted me one book, so I'm definitely going to read it. And where is it available, by the way, if people wants to buy it?
It's available on Amazon and on Notion Test. It's available on all leading sites.
Wonderful. Audience, if the book wasn't gifted to me, I would have been the first one to buy it as well. So make sure to do that. I'll mention the link in the description. All you got to do is just click on that link and buy. That's it. Coming back to you now. This is going to be my last question
Okay.
of this show. But genuinely speaking, what an amazing show I had today. Your poems resonate with me, and your journey, it doesn't, but the things you have faced and still having a positive mindset is definitely a big lesson for me and for all the viewers out there. So thank you so much for that. So my last question is, if people wants to get connected with you, wants more insights on the disease, and wants to get connected with you in person as well, where they can find you?
I am available on Instagram. I'm available on LinkedIn. And I can also provide my phone number and email ID so that people can connect with me. And I'm more than happy to help to create awareness about the disease, first of all, because prevention, first of all, is the key to this disease. If it happens, then what needs to be done? There, I can also provide support. I can guide you because I have not just gone through it. I'm reading about it. I read about it. I've made a career out of because I had a disease, and I can always, physical presence if needed
Right.
to how to do the physiotherapy sessions or the mindset overall. I can always be of help there.
Right.
So yeah, we can reach me out any ways you want.
Wonderful.
People if they want to.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Although I did forgot one question. Okay. So I promise this is going to be my last question for sure. Okay. Because when you say prevention, there is one question from the community. Okay. So just to let the audience know that community is something where I post about the upcoming experts who are going to come on the show, and those people who wants to ask their questions, they put that on the community and I ask them on behalf of the community members. So if you are the one who wants to join the community, all you have to do is just send me an email or DM me on Instagram, and I'll be your guy to join the community. So this community question is asked by Shraddha. She lives in Delhi, and she has asked this question. She resides from Delhi, by the way, and she has asked this question: what are some preventive measures which we can take so that this disease at the very first place doesn't come to us? Okay, and since I live in Delhi, that's what she has written. I have not said that. Since I live in Delhi, uh, there is a constant pollution, and that's something. So is that something which I should be concerned about? And other than that, what are some preventive measures?
So thank you so much, Shraddha, for that question. So first of all, I'll talk about the prevention, and then I'll come to the part of Delhi and pollution. So for prevention, you have to ensure that you're drinking water from bottled sources, RO water, and avoid water. Even when you're brushing your teeth, just ensure that you're not using tap water because you don't know what sort of bacteria or viruses are there. So whatever you're putting inside your mouth that goes inside your gut, ensure that it is clean as possible. If you're taking food from roadside, it is cooked, yes, but it has fermented foods like paneer is there or non-vegetarian food that you're taking from roadside. There are chances that you might get E. coli or Campylobacter. These are some of the bacteria that causes the infection. You might get this infection even after COVID or any flu. This can happen. So if it happens, first of all, try to avoid those in the first place. However, flu is not avoidable at all. If it happens, just keep a note on your body system that what is happening. Am I getting tingling sensations in the first place? Am I getting constant fever? My fever, constant. My fever, or am I getting headaches or something that is off that doesn't happen in my body? If it happens, go to the physician. If you're not convinced, you still think that you need more help, go to a specialist, go to a neurologist to rule it out altogether.
Right.
So that way, first of all, through your eating habits, you can control the disease through your eating and drinking habits. And second, by visiting a doctor in the right time, because it takes few days to become a bed patient from a healthy, happy person.
Right.
So that is why don't delay. In a day or two, if you're not feeling better, just go again and ensure that this is rule out Guillain-Barré syndrome from a neurologist.
What?
That's all I would say.
Thank you.
And coming back to the question about Delhi pollution, so pollution, yes, pollution causes a lot of other diseases. So having prevention measures to avoid that pollution in the first place will help you from those other diseases.
Right.
And again, a low immune system can also cause you are prone to infections with low immunity.
Yeah.
Try to work on your immunity. Have food that increases your immunity, such as vitamin C. It helps you to build your immunity. Then you have K2 or those healthy foods that actually you run away from. Those are the lifesavers.
Yeah.
So if you are keeping your eating habits right, you're physically fit, and you're eating and drinking the right things, then you're preventing Guillain-Barré syndrome in the first place.
Oh, that's very well said. Thank you so much, Bittu, for joining this podcast and to choose this podcast, particularly for spreading this awareness I'm more than happy to have you on this show and you recorded this show. So thank you so much for being a part. I really, really appreciate that. And with that being said, viewers, we are ending this episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode completely. I really appreciate that. With that being said, this is Aditya Mehta along with Bittu signing off from this episode. See you in the next month. Till then, peace.